The letter to Laodicea, a structural diagnosis of corporate religion. Section 1, the diagnostic context. In the 3rd chapter of Revelation, the exalted high priest delivers one of the most precise administrative assessments in all of Scripture. Speaking to the assembly at Laodicea, he declares, "Because thou sayest, Rich I am, and have grown rich, and have need of nothing, and have not known that thou art the wretched and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked." This is not primarily a moral rebuke. It is a structural diagnosis. The language is the language of auditing an inspector, reviewing the operational books of a vassal organization, and finding that its self-reported ledger does not match the actual standing in the sovereign's registry. Laodicea was not a struggling city. It was one of the wealthiest commercial centers in the ancient world. A banking hub. A manufacturing center famous for its black wool garments and its prestigious school of ophthalmology. When a major earthquake devastated the region in 60 of the Common Era, Laodicea refused imperial aid and rebuilt entirely from its own reserves. They needed nothing from Rome. They needed nothing from anyone. Now map that profile onto the modern religious corporation. Consider the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, a global printing and publishing operation with real estate holdings across dozens of countries, a translation infrastructure covering hundreds of languages, legal compliance departments, and a membership numbering in the millions. By any institutional metric, this is a wealthy, self-sufficient, highly organized body. They have declared themselves the sole channel of God on earth, the faithful and discreet slave, the exclusive administrative pipeline between the Father and humanity. And yet, the diagnostic from the exalted high priest is identical. You have grown rich, you have need of nothing, and you do not know that structurally you are wretched. The institutional growth is real. The organizational efficiency is genuine, but neither constitutes alignment with the actual administrative framework of the kingdom of heaven. Organizational wealth and true operational standing are not the same thing. The Laodicean era then and now is the confusion of one for the other. My mouth. To understand this passage correctly, you must understand the geography. Laodicea sat between 2 notable water sources. To the north, the city of Hierapolis was famous for its hot thermal springs, healing waters used medicinally. To the southeast, Colossae drew from cold, crisp mountain streams, clean, refreshing, directly useful. Laodicea's own water supply arrived via a long aqueduct from the south. By the time it reached the city, it was neither hot nor cold. It was tepid, mineral-laden, nauseating. It made people sick. The metaphor is operational, not merely moral. The high priest is not saying he prefers passionate believers over apathetic ones. He is saying that an organization which cannot commit to a clear operational identity becomes functionally useless, worse than useless, actively nauseating. Cold water serves a purpose. Hot water serves a purpose. Lukewarm water serves neither and contaminates what it touches. Now apply this to the corporate religious model. Mainstream high-control organizations attempt to occupy a middle position. They claim divine authority, the direct backing of the Father and the exalted Son, while simultaneously operating as registered legal corporations subject to human courts, human bylaws, and human publishing hierarchies. They invoke the language of Scripture while binding their members to organizational loyalty that supersedes personal conscience. They claim to follow the Melchizedek priesthood while installing a human governing body that issues binding doctrinal updates as if it were a divine legislative branch. The result is the Laodicean middle ground. They're not functioning as a clean, secular institution that would be cold water, at least identifiable and honest. They are not operating as a genuinely decentralized fellowship under the direct authority of the exalted high priest that would be hot water, clear, and aligned. Instead, they occupy a nauseating hybrid divine claims wrapped in corporate infrastructure. Spiritual language weaponized to enforce institutional compliance. The administrative verdict is clear. The high priest is about to remove them from his operational roster entirely. Thou hast not known that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. The Laodiceans were famous for two things relevant here: their black wool textile industry, which produced garments of significant commercial value, and their medical school, which had developed a well-known eye salve. The high priest deploys both images directly against them. Your famous garments cannot cover your spiritual nakedness. Your celebrated eye treatments cannot cure your administrative blindness. What is this blindness structurally? It is the inability to read the governing documents on their own terms. Corporate religious systems have developed an institutionalized lexicon, a filtered vocabulary through which every scriptural passage is processed before it reaches the individual member. The Hebrew concept of Ruach HaKodesh, the operational force, the angelic executive workforce, has been reinterpreted through Nicene categories as the third person of a divine committee. The concept of baptismal jurisdiction, individual officers receiving delegated authority under the terms of the New Covenant Charter, has been replaced by organizational enrollment. You are not commissioned as an officer of the kingdom. You are registered as a member of the corporation. This filtering creates the blindness. When every primary document is pre-processed through an institutional hermeneutic, the individual never encounters the raw administrative blueprint. They encounter the corporation's interpretation of the blueprint, and the nakedness, an organization that operates through behavioral coercion, disfellowshipping, shunning, bite model control of behavior, information, thought, and emotion, has replaced legitimate jurisdiction with human enforcement mechanisms. Strip away the corporate titles, strip away the publishing empire. What stands before the Father's court? Not officers operating under lawful commission. What remains is a human authority structure dressed in scriptural vocabulary that holds no actual standing under the exalted high priest, naked before the sovereign's bench. Section 4. The remedy. Standing outside the institution. Behold, I have stood at the door, and I knock. If anyone may hear my voice and may open the door, I will come in unto him, and with him I will sup, and he with me. Read this passage carefully for what it tells you about location. The exalted high priest is not inside the assembly. He is outside. He is standing at the door. He is knocking. The institutional body that claims to represent his authority on earth has structurally locked him out of its own operational center. The corporate headquarters is running without the high priest in the building. This is not incidental. It is the logical consequence of the preceding diagnosis. An organization that has confused its own institutional wealth for kingdom standing, that has achieved the lukewarm hybrid of divine claims and corporate control, that is blind to the actual governing documents and naked of legitimate authority, such an organization has no operational mechanism left to recognize the voice of the exalted Son. The governing body, notice the specificity of the remedy. The high priest does not address the institution. He does not issue a reformation memo to the governing body. His call is directed entirely to individuals. If anyone may hear my voice, if anyone may open the door, one at a time, person by person. Not a corporate revival, a personal operational decision. This is the blueprint of decentralized fellowship. The administrative framework of the kingdom of heaven does not require a human intermediary organization between the individual officer and the exalted high priest. It requires a direct operational connection, individual accountability under the terms of the New Covenant Charter, directly before the sovereign's bench, without the filtering layer of an institutional governing body. The supper described here is not a congregational event. It is a bilateral covenant meal, one-to-one, officer to high priest, conducted entirely outside the walls of the corporate structure. The Laodicean letter is the scriptural proof of what the administrative framework predicts. The wealthiest, most organizationally sophisticated, most institutionally self-sufficient assembly in the 7 letters is simultaneously the one the high priest has been locked out of entirely. Organizational complexity and kingdom alignment move in opposite directions. The more layers of institutional infrastructure placed between the individual and the exalted high priest, the further the actual administrative connection degrades. For those standing at the edge of high-control religious systems, those who sense that something in the operational architecture is wrong, the Laodicean letter is a direct operational brief. The diagnosis is structural, not personal. The blindness is institutional, not individual. The nakedness is a corporate condition, not a verdict on the individual officer who was enrolled in it. The knock at the door is still happening. The question is whether you will hear it not as an institution, not as a congregation, not as a publishing house, but as an individual officer standing directly before the terms of the covenant with no intermediary required and no corporate loyalty demanded. The blueprint has always been there. The door has always been yours to open.